Hello, everyone. I think, okay, so I'm a little bit looking at the thing. Let me do this. But yes, this is Stop Losing, Start Trading, the trade show that uh, me and Rosalie from the Panoptic team are doing multiple times a week. This is a way for people to get exposed to options trading, understand a bit better how to be an options trader, not lose your shirt along the way. And just more generally, I've been teaching Rosalie for the past 3 months already, and this has been doing great. But yes, otherwise, how have you been doing today, Rosalie?
Good. Yeah, I'm doing well. The price of Bitcoin is looking quite good today. So there's, sun shining and it's Friday, so I'm doing well.
Yeah, spring is sprung. It's actually it's very cool. I mean, warm outside. I'm from Boston. Rosalie's in New York, but yeah, definitely feeling the fresh breath of yes, spring. As you've seen, maybe if you're joining on Twitter, you might have seen the title of this talk of this chat. But Bitcoin is about 95K. Congrats to all Bitcoin holders, but Ansem was wrong, and I'll go over that in a little bit. But the key point is that sometimes in options trading, you have an assumption price going to go up, down, or stay the same. There's always a trade for that. So that's kind of how we want to communicate that. Regardless of your assumption, there's nothing you cannot do in a way. Ansem had a question about the price of Bitcoin staying between 75K and 100K. I answered on Twitter, but also I was able to create that trade for the intern, Panoptic intern, and the intern this time. So this is good. But this is the Panoptic interface. You can trade options on any asset, any pair that is tradable on Uniswap. The Ansem tweet was about BTC, Bitcoin, staying in range between 75K and 95K. I rushed to Twitter and typed, "This is the trade you have to do." This was last week, 7 days ago. Intern did it. And yes, this is what it looks like now. Um, yeah, can you walk us through, Rosalie, what the position is and what it's looking like now?
Yeah, so it's still in range, which is okay. But yeah, the price of Bitcoin has moved up significantly of the point of this option where we were making money and earning fees. So yeah, we're still earning some fees, but the price was wrong. The assumption was
And
wrong.
again, it's fine to be making predictions. Most of the time, I'm personally wrong. That's why I want to be neutral. This was a neutral trade, and again, price did jump and did jump again this morning. But as a trade, sometimes you just have to kind of move on if it doesn't work for you. It's 95K, but yeah, the range I'm seeing now is 95,700. So might still have a bit of juice in it, but definitely moved almost outside. This was a weekly time scale as well. So this is a bit on the more active side of management. Uh, and maybe forget about Ansems, but if you were the intern or you personally, would you maintain that same range bound assumption, or you would say it's now bullish? It could be now bear neutral in the same range. What if we were to close this trade or not close it? What's your current assumption on the price of Bitcoin?
Yeah, I'm feeling more bullish on Bitcoin. I think when people see these really high prices of Bitcoin, they fear buy, and people are not good at buying when it's low. They are more enter like at a later time because they think they're missing out, and so I do think the price is going to go up a little bit more.
If it crosses 100K again, then
Yeah,
125 immediately afterwards.
probably.
And
Yeah.
and would you say if we were to, yeah, so this is definitely, I also think it's true, the human psyche does look at these raw numbers and gets FOMO. We could buy an option and get a call option to get a lot of upside, or we can sell an option. But actually, let's go right into that uh, trade, which is maybe we recommend the intern to close this position. This was a weekly option, price left within a week. or at least it's very close. I don't think it's going to go back to 85K, or if it does, then so be it. But yes, I would also recommend closing it. We can certainly reopen a new trade when you want to be engaged. You want to be able to kind of manage your position. So this is the one trade that Ansem and I described and I created. So you don't think this is valid anymore. So would you want to
No.
see a bit of bullishness, or still neutrality, or as you said, if you're extremely confident, we can do a put, or if we are so sure that there's no way to lose, you can buy a call. How do
Mm.
you feel about your assumption of price going up?
I think it might be a good time to actually just be fully bullish. It does, scare me sometimes, but we've seen this with Brandon going over the best and worst trades. And I like being delta neutral. I like, making money from volatility and being range bound. But I don't know. I have a good feeling. I don't know.
Actually, let's do this. So the trade, and then we'll see if there's enough liquidity. But we can take the flip side of Ansem and say, you were so wrong that we're gonna make money off of your bad call. So we could even buy the straddle or buy one leg, which would be that call only, and it would be free if it keeps going up and the other side does force close us. It would be a free option in a way, which is kind of buying. Could be whatever, a fraction of a Bitcoin worth for nothing, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I do think that, yeah, if it continues to go up, it'll really go up, because people are now more comfortable with Bitcoin. Regulation. There's so many things that are impacting this. Even my parents are like, should we buy Bitcoin? And
Oh my god.
so, if
Typically, it's a
that's,
stop signal, but given that we're down, that's what it means. There is some juice left. Actually, let's be a bit more aggressive in our assumption. Let's buy a fully out of the money call, and we can look at this position. This one has some person is sitting on out of the range liquidity. We can buy part of it. Since the price is outside of that range, intern will pay nothing. They will get clear exposure. If the price were to collapse to 60K overnight, they would still get protection and limited losses. So now this, combined with your bullish nature, potentially explosive price action, we can buy an option for free. Actually, yes.
yeah,
So, and we do some research as well. We try to make it so that people understand the risks. When you buy options on Deribit or even the iBit, it's very, very liquid. So the prices are quite accurate. And only buying is hard to be successful long term. You pay constantly and you win big, but it's like a casino. When we buy options on Panoptic, there are still some inefficiencies possible. This one example, buying an option for free, no premium, is again a free option. No one is gonna turn their back. So that is one example of, we could have bought the one that's still in range, but would be paying if it goes down. Now we have kind of some buffers. So yes, that is one way to exploit maybe some inefficiencies that are still present in Panoptic and post launch. People had to figure out this one. Buying a out of the money, out of range option is for free. Good bet if we think it's going to go up.
sounds very exciting. Yeah, I'll be here on Monday, and I'm going on a little vacation. So I think it's time to do something fun. I have a
I
bit
mean,
of time.
there's no risk of liquidation if you're buying an option. That is also something that you can do if you don't want to look at your portfolio. Yes, that's let's do this. Rosalie will make have this play out. Uh, I mean, maybe not 10x, but something like 4x leverage on your collateral for a free option. It's like, yeah, it would be like going long on a perp and paying no funding rate. Very cool. All right, so we've had some action on different markets. We did close a few positions. This is what happened. We realized some losses here, unfortunately, but the key point is that we're mostly in the green for those positions that are still open. And then some losses, but nothing to be worried about. But yeah, uh, which market do you want to look at first, Rosalie?
Yeah, so I think in general, my like assumptions and my feelings at the moment are I think Bitcoin is going to outperform ETH. So yeah, maybe let's check the ratio.
The ratio trade.
Yeah, time to close that now.
You
No,
think?
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
if you want to de-risk, if the Bitcoin outperforms, and I think this was set up as a slightly bearish trade, the ratio is going to go down. Bitcoin price will increase faster than ETH's price, and this was opened 13 days ago, and surprisingly, we're at the same place more or less.
Hmm.
So your initial assumption was this was a bearish trade on the ratio, and I think that's what you're still thinking, right?
I see. I miss the ratio trades always get me. So
It can be difficult to track, but we have a way to flip it. This is in the advanced tab. This is for those that have been using the protocol and haven't touched the advanced tab. But one thing you can do in the advanced version is that this is a ETH BTC ratio. You can flip this and show a B ETH ratio. So instead of the price being 0.019, the price is now 52 ETH per Bitcoin. And this is again tells a slightly different story. But if we're bullish Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin will be higher compared to ETH. So you have the point of Bitcoin will be 53, 55, whatever, 60 ETH per Bitcoin. So that's if you are bullish ETH, bullish. If you're bullish Bitcoin, you can flip it. But yes, that is again maybe the same trade as before. It's just now 57.1 instead of point 0 something. Uh, but yeah, so this let's go back here so that we don't get confused. Yeah, you are bearish BTC. This is bearish the ratio. This is a trade that's bearish ratio still halfway through. So yeah, I'm also we're earning fees. We're almost back to where we started. I'd say we keep it on.
yes, yeah.
Okay. Uh, Amazing. So this one is a winner, and then if our assumption is all right, it's gonna keep winning. Uh, we had yeah, Eigen and Ticker Bitcoin almost kind of engagement trades. Losing a little bit on Ticker Bitcoin, gaining a little bit on Eigen, but nothing to be kind of worried about in my opinion. So uh, let's go to the ETH USDC.
Mm-hmm.
And we have two positions. It seems it's a bit weird. It's a long call and a short call. And these two generate a payoff. Again, it's a bit maybe hard to view, but we have two positions. We wanted the intern to close their positions. Uh, they close only one of them. If we look at the deposits amount, meaning that we have some ETH and USDC in that market, we can look at the P&L of all three, the two options and the ETH. It's fairly bullish. Uh, and we have two positions, one which is a call option we purchased, another one which is a put option, a call option that we sold. Uh, Actually, yeah, let's have a look at this one. So this one, I think we wanted to close it, but uh, intern, I think, was not. Yeah, they were not able to close it fully. So what happens in Panoptic, and maybe this is a good way to explain like the nitty gritty, but selling an option is providing liquidity in Uniswap. You deposit liquidity within a range. This is the block of liquidity that is kind of the highest. This is the amount that's being sold in totality in the Panoptic, in the Uniswap pool. But people can go on and buy options. And when you buy an option, you are removing or you're kind of burning that liquidity and it's gone from Uniswap. So, what was 2.22 ETH of sold liquidity? There's some guy that bought two of those. There's only 0.22 left. So that means that if we want to close our position, which is still like 1.34, we can't. There's not enough liquidity. So this could be problematic if you cannot close your positions. The flip side is that because it's so utilized, there's such a high demand for that strike pays up 3x, three times the fees on Uniswap. So that's kind of the trade-off where you may not be able to close your position right away, but because you reduce the size, you are getting paid 3x. And in that case, if the price were to leave the range, it's still barely in range. That's why I think. If it leaves the range, you can force exercise the option holders, but now because it's in range, you cannot. So I think we wanted the intern to close this, but now it's still open, but we earn 3x the fees. Do you think it's a good trade off, or would you like to see this completely gone?
No, I think that's a wonderful trade off.
And the person on the other side now, they are paying 3x. They may have to monitor the positions a bit more carefully. Maybe that's going to force them to close. Who knows? But yes, in that case, this is a very young position, earning fees, I guess, but at 3x the pace of Uniswap. Or if someone else listening to this sees it wouldn't be a good trade, maybe because it's almost out of range. But if you want to sell the exact same position, that could add enough capital for the intern to close that position. But yeah, uh, yeah, this is kind of part of the different way to manage risks. But in that case, yes, we're stuck with something that looks like a short ETH position, but then we get paid 3x the fees, which also I also think is a good deal.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I think ETH, historically has not done as well as Bitcoin in these big price moves. So I don't. It's okay to be a little short ETH
yeah,
if it's not too
and
risky.
effectively, what happens here is that this is a what 0.67 ETH position, but if we look back at the portfolio, we own more than 0.67 ETH of liquidity, so it's like almost a covered call. So if we were to look at the net P&L is looking like this if it's just the options, but adding the deposits, we're still bullish. So even though it seems like we're losing, it's a covered call. It's covered where you don't lose on the way up, and we might say no, we're even more bearish. So we might even sell more calls to make it flat a little bit more. A part of it is also that we're buying an option that has unlimited upside. Let's see how's this one doing. Um, Pretty good. This is buying a call option. Price was 1600. Now it's 1800. And we're still in range, so we cannot get forced exercise. But this position has paid $18 worth of premia for 112 bucks worth of gains. Uh, we're paying a tiny bit more, 10% more than Uniswap. But if it's a directional play, it's actually working pretty well for us.
Yeah, this looks great. I think I would definitely maybe close this position earlier than the full 30 days, but I would love to see what happens over the weekend. Check back in on this on Monday. I think $18 for $100 sounds great.
Yeah, definitely. And the capital requirement for this position is like 1/10 thereabouts. So even though this is a position that controls effectively $1,800, we only required $180 worth of collateral. So even if it's now it's kind of in the money, the risks are quite low. The most we can lose is not even gonna kind of impact this. So it's actually pretty cool. So I would also keep it on and be ready to close maybe on Monday after any price moves. But yeah, okay, very cool. So I think that's it. So again, the goal is to have different positions open in different markets with different strategies. And if you want to hedge, you hedge the whole portfolio at once, as opposed to trying to find 25 different hedges for 25 different positions. But yeah, maybe next time we will go to the other ones. But yeah, as a uh, trade management kind of show, there's nothing much more to do than just wait. We're all somewhat covered. We're not overextended anywhere. And again, since Rosalie may be traveling, that there might be some de-risking needed to be done. But yeah, overall, this is just a yeah, well constructed portfolio for sure.
Sounds good. Yeah, I can't wait to check what happens on the weekend.
Amazing. Yeah, definitely. Cool. So this is it for the trade show. So again, Ansem, if you did trade the same option, you might not get liquidated, but might start losing money soon. So be careful. All right. So yeah, we'll add. Yeah, thanks, Rosalie. This was great. So again, I'll talk on Monday, but yeah, we'll definitely have some more talk to talk about then.
Awesome. Bye.
Yep. Bye bye. Hey, Brennan, what's up?
Hey, Guillaume. We are covering the best and worst trades. It'll be from the last 2 weeks. And so excited to see if you can beat your high score of 100%.
Can I beat 100%? It's tough, but yes, I'll
Very.
try.
It's like getting the 100th percentile. So yeah, we'll be covering some trades here. We also have a very big announcement at the end of this live stream that we're very excited to let you guys know some updates and something you guys can participate in coming up. So please stay tuned till the end of the live stream where we'll drop the announcement here live. And so, but first, let's look at some of the trades. Do you want to give us some background on what's been happening over the last 2 weeks since we've done this segment and maybe what the
Oh,
markets have
yeah, the past
happened?
week has certainly been bullish. So a huge increase in both BTC and ETH. Over the past 2 weeks, I think before that it was pretty stable. The big drop that happened for the trade master negotiation tactics are gone. So again, I think from the 2 weeks on, it was stable, and then big hockey stick increase in price. Uh, and yeah, I would assume that the bullish trades were the biggest winners for sure. But yeah, I'm excited to see how the community traded.
Yeah, we have seen some really wild hockey stick movements in the candles, so that's fun. So we'll be looking at the ETH trades. So these are ETH perpetual options on Panoptic. We're live on Unichain and Ethereum mainnet right now, so you can trade options really in any market. Cool thing is you can sell options in any market, even if there's no buyers. But we're going to look specifically at the ETH markets. So people are trading puts, calls, strangles, straddles, iron condors, you name it, right, on these ETH options. Very fun stuff you can do. We're built on top of Uniswap, so it's all LP positions in the background, completely decentralized. Just for our newer audience, trying to explain a little bit of background of what these options are. If you have any questions, leave them in the chat, or if you have any trades that want to be featured, let us know here in the chat on YouTube, X, or Discord. But we're going to jump into the best and worst trade on Unichain and mainnet. So we'll cover 4 trades. What do you want to start with, Guillaume? Best or worst trades this time?
Yeah, the best I think are easiest, and then again, what we've seen consistently over the past weeks that people are definitely bullish. Lots of calls queue, buying call options. These calls were wrong directionally wise over the past 3 months, but because it's a call option, the losses were somewhat limited, and because the position are kind of wide, like you max your losses. So I would expect that someone either purchased a call or was bullish call option side and made a bunch with that recent price move in a way
Sweet,
that,
makes sense
yeah.
logically. Yes, and so is your guess call option for both, or do you have any other bullish strategies you think
Yeah,
might
again,
be the
the
best?
way that there's two bullish strategies that are the easiest to implement, which is buying a call or selling a put. Uh, Selling a put, I would say, is another one, but it's hard to predict. Typically, when there's a big drop, at least personally, this is when I enter, I sell the puts. I think it's going to be reversing, and more often than not, like maybe half the time, but it does go up, but not either immediately, or if not, then it's like a wash and you just collect fees. So even if we had some interesting upward moves, it was, I think, hard to time this right and sell like a slightly in the money put type of thing. So yeah, I would say that might be calls that were purchased for both because of the quiet nature and then sudden increase that we've seen, which is harder to do if you're just selling puts.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, let's go take a look at the best trades and see if you're right here. So we'll jump to the first best trade on Unichain. So this is a call option being purchased. It was purchased just under 12 days ago, before the big jump. Oh wait, sorry, we can't see the price there. But speaking of free options, I think this was an option that was purchased for no cost. How does that
Exactly.
work?
Yeah. So this is the same thing that we recommended intern to do. Yeah. So yeah, if you click on the label, we can see the range. But yes, the mint price, which is that thin line, is above. So that person purchased a in the money call option, paid zero premium, which is again what we see here. So even if we look at the chart, it's flat. So it's purely like a perp that has no funding rate. uh, and to some extent better than perps, because if the price were to crash, it would have some downward protection, and then you would not get liquidated immediately. So interestingly, yeah, I would say that this is a if you're bullish and you see some out of range liquidity, yes, buy it, and then have your directionality be realized this way.
Yeah, this is a great deal, right? They paid nothing in cost. Like you can't do that on Deribit. You're buying these deep in the money or deep out of the money options, and it's costing zero premium here. So price moved up from where they minted or where they opened the position around the 1600 price. Price is now closer to 1800 for ETH. Congratulations, ETH. So that's a $200 price movement, and they have a fifth of a contract. So they're making about $40 here, far more than their margin requirement. So great win here, 18% on the notional just in the last week and a half. So outperforming the S&P and Bitcoin and ETH and everything.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is very very like yeah, a perp with no funding rate, so it's pure alpha there.
Zero funding rate perp with limited downside. You can't. Yeah, I think when crypto Twitter discovers this will blow up. They're
Yes.
still years behind. Okay. Well, anything else do you want to go over on this trade before we move on to the best trade on Ethereum?
Yeah, no, let's go to Ethereum.
Let's do it. So we'll check the best trade on Ethereum here, which is also a long call. So you're correct here. Someone bought a call. They did pay for this call, actually, but it is a much bigger contract. So, of course, there was probably more liquidity closer to the money. So this didn't start out as deep in the money, meaning they're going to pay
It was
some
almost
amount.
at the money. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, but still very, very profitable, right? Yeah. What is your take on this trade and why they did well?
Yeah, so both of them were minted, I'd say, 12 days ago, which was in the days following that huge crash. And that is just people positioning themselves. You would sell puts, or if you do think there's a bounce, you would buy calls as well. It took still maybe an extra few days, I mean, I don't know, 6 more days for this to be in the money, but still, it was the right move if you think there was going to be a rebound. And they are paying like 40% more than Uniswap. It's still in range, or they're still doing this. So I would say that the I would maybe realize that when and make sure that I don't get killed on the fees, because they are still paying now as we speak. But yeah, I would say that the this is also another directional play that has worked. Price had the price gone down, would have been a different story. But yeah, seems like it's pretty good here.
Sweet. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it was around, let's say, April 12th here when they opened the position. The position kind of moved around, and they were at a loss actually, probably around for a couple of days until this hockey stick here. So now they're the biggest winner. They went from one of the losers to the biggest winners in the last few days.
Exactly, and this is a sizable, so I would not be surprised if that account. I mean, can we spy? I want to see if they have more than one position open, or if it's just like all in type of thing. So if you go on the market directly from there, you can go to the market info, and we're
Um,
gonna on top right,
let's
you will
see.
spy on them.
Okay, let's click
So we can see
this.
their full portfolio, but
Let this load, so you won't see it here yet. We're gonna have to find them. However, who is them? We might have to look at the Ether
oh
scan.
yeah, we
Let's
can
see
also.
a better
So
way to do this.
yeah, I'm yeah, this is fine. This is again $8,000 worth of calls being purchased, and then there was enough liquidity for sure for this to be operate. So
So is this the wallet address?
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we'll look at that. Here's a tutorial on how to spy. So
Yeah.
the sorry, my tabs are a little bit freezing up here, but I'm trying to share kind of all the
Oh no, no.
trade tape basically. Is that
Yeah.
what you'll be looking at here? And we can see this user's AA8F, for example.
No. Yeah, the
Here, we'll see this.
slightly more efficient way is to go the view as thing and see their positions directly.
Oh, okay. Let's try that. So
I don't know if you're on Unichain or mainnet. This is mainnet, yeah. Oh,
current
intern.
mainnet here.
Nice.
We'll see if this works. Okay, we're spectating as this user, and we can see their positions pulling up in the ETH market.
Oh, so it might just be one position. So pretty leveraged as well. They have again maybe $2,000 worth of liquidity control. 2,500. Oh no, yeah, the no, that's right. We should show it, but their position has been leveraged quite a bit. It's like I would say like 8x
Yeah, so
leverage.
if you go back
Yeah,
here, this notional value of this leg is almost 7,000 actually. You get a lot more leverage buying options.
yeah.
So they've deposited.
So this is also like they seem to be negative 85% on their deposits, but if they realize or close that position, it's gonna go back up. And I say by more than 85%. So yeah, they
Oh
are
yeah, this
pretty
is
good.
buying in the money option, right? So the counting here is probably a bit confusing.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
understand
I
differently.
had people reach out, but yeah, the if you trade options in TradFi, you sell options, you get paid for it. So your balance increases, and you say, hey, you cannot withdraw this, otherwise you have less collateral. So it's implied that you sell something, you buy it back, and you have kind of this flow of funds. It's only when you look at all positions, if they were to close them right away, this is what the net liquidation value is. This is the real amount that you have. So
Mhm.
that is taking into account the fact that you were to close that call in the money, making money 500 more or $422 more. This is the max that you get. But yeah, the balances may switch and flip and navigate and kind of float, but that's because you're selling and buying, you're depositing funds, you'll get them back, type of thing. So yeah, we do show it, but yeah, do assume that you were maybe not losing 85% of your ETH, but rather it's invested, so it's going to get back when you close your
Invested.
position.
It's being tied up in this position that
Yeah,
actually made you $422.
and this is good. This is like $2,000 worth of capital, 20% return in 13 days. But
Wonderful.
yes,
Great
it's
trade.
paying StreamYard. They're paying as we speak. So if they are extremely bullish, maybe they can keep it on. But I would personally secure that win, maybe buy another call, do something else. But yeah, it's definitely kind of on the winning side for sure.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
I mean, if we go further up, they might even stop paying any more Streamia. So
Yeah, that's true.
pretty decent there. Okay, well, great job. You're 2 for 2. Very nice predictions there on the best trades. We're covering the best and worst trades of the last 2 weeks in the ETH options market on Panoptic, and then we'll have a big announcement on some cool news upcoming for the panoptimists and traders wanting to do something. So we're going to go over the worst trades now, and we'll take a look at Unichain and Ethereum. And so we'll let you guess, what do you think did poorly, the most poorly, the poorest of the chains?
Yeah, I would say it's all now. It's the flip side, which is selling calls, or at least being negative delta, and the price explosion meant that your calls were likely in the money very quickly. You had to close them or scramble, maybe leave them open. But yeah, two short calls would be the flip side of the two short long calls that were the biggest winners.
All right. So short calls as the worst trades. They're neutral to bearish trades. So they do better when the price goes down. We know the price has gone up. So these call options have done well. So let's take a look at the kind of inverse trade. Short calls is the guess here, and we'll see if that's correct. Let's start with we'll see what chain this is. This is Ethereum mainnet. So you are correct on that one, that there is a short call. It's like promise, this is not scripted.
Do you know who's so what this is 13% loss, right? Do you know whose
Yes.
account this is?
Oh, is this the intern?
This is the
What is
intern.
this? Is there-
Uh-oh. I said it's covered. So they have some funds. So they're winning overall because their ETH deposits went up.
Hmm.
But yes, this one was indeed closed for loss. So that one position kind of looks bad. That's why I said sometimes you have to look at the whole portfolio like we did before. But in that case, they would still be earning, but that position kind of did not work out for them. So, but yes, and two
Well,
E.
I'm glad I have you here for the context then, because looking at this trade in isolation, we wouldn't know. But can you break down just real quick why did this trade go wrong? What was the psychology behind this trade, and then how does it fit in the bigger
Yeah,
portfolio?
so I think this is we added a new feature on the UI to include your deposits in your P&L chart, and intern had two or three, maybe two positions. We were, again, you can even look at the market info, but we were able to see that yes, even though we seem to be neutral or even bearish, which is what a lot of our trades were, if we include the deposits, ETH is adding extra exposure. So in that case, we're a bit more bullish than we wished. And I think that position was to neutralize these deltas to be more neutral so that you have positive deltas from the deposits in your positions. You add something that is extremely negative delta, which is that short call, to equilibrate this, that the net position was still neutral as opposed to being bullish. Because Rosalie had the assumption that ETH was a bit more bearish. It was bearish for a long time, but now again, we got caught because we were neutral and it went up. But again, we were not bearish necessarily, we were just neutral, and that trade was the hedge to bring the deltas down.
Okay, so this is not a single trade in isolation. This trade has a negative delta, which means as the price of ETH goes up, the trade loses value, which did happen. However, the reason for this trade was a negative delta balances out the positive delta of just holding ETH in your account, as collateral, because there's margin. You deposit collateral to back your account. You can deposit ETH, you can deposit stablecoin, but you had a lot of ETH deposits there, and so this was kind of hedging against that a bit. So what's the goal though? Is the goal to earn premia then? Like here you made 27. Is that still enough to outweigh the hedged losses, or
Yeah,
what's
exactly. I think the goal is to harvest premium. At least that's what the Rosalie and the intern were trying to do. And yes, it's covered, quote unquote. So that loss is offset by gains. So in theory, this is still a winning trade, but the fees is what you want to optimize, maximize. And now it's paying 3x, or at least if you were to open this, so it was 3x. It was a bit more, so you could still earn, but yeah. Uh, that is as an option seller, as a Uniswap LP to some extent, you want to maximize returns, and you hedge in Panoptic or on a different protocol your exposure in order to maximize the fees. And then $27 more than the fees for gas costs, even the commission. So yeah, they still made money, quote unquote, because of that fees. And then they were hedged, not hedged probably, but yeah, still made money.
Very interesting. Well, it's nice to get some context here because we don't often have get to talk to the people making these trades. So we do look at them in isolation from their portfolio. Very
Exactly.
interesting. All right. Well, let's move to the worst trade on Unichain, and I think your guest a short call as well there. So let's take a look at what we got there. And we kind of have a really interesting position here. It's mostly someone buying a
What?
put. They
Yeah.
did do it with multiple strikes and multiple, but overall, it's mainly a put here with basically 4 times the size for the most part. So, yeah, I mean, puts are bearish when you buy them and the price went up. So it's quite obvious that this would have done not
Very
so well.
interesting. Yeah.
But any thoughts on why the 3 legs and just how this performed overall?
This is one strike, one contract, two contracts, one contract. This setup is a butterfly. Not even then. No, it's the yeah. I don't know what happened there.
Maybe are they
Some
looking to harvest different V's, different spreads
no,
there
but this is buying, so they're paying. Maybe they were trying to avoid
to
the
avoid?
hot ones. It's Is it still open? Yes, I think
Yes,
so.
it is. It was
And
open
can you
3
click on
days
like
ago.
the 2030? So
Uh-huh.
one of them to see who else is part of that. The strike on the left
Oh,
in the legs table.
There's a lot of people
Yeah, I don't
selling.
know. So they're the only buyer, a bunch of sellers, but one of the only buyers. Yeah, I don't know what went through that person's mind, but yeah, the definitely did not work on all puts, meaning that it's a bearish trade, price going up, which is what we see from 1644 to 1800, means that you're kind of wrong directionally. So yeah, but I would. It was 3 days ago. I'm sure also they opened it right as it was going up. Yeah,
I mean, they haven't paid a lot of Streamia, so part of these, let's say they wanted 1 ETH, right? And because they did a
yeah,
quarter split up into about 4, almost 4 legs, basically. This one has a 2x on this leg. So, like, these legs, they still got that put option exposure. They're just free. They're not paying
yeah,
Streamia.
that's true. They
It's really
have,
only this one that they paid a
and they
$2.
started. It was probably all out of range as well. Yeah, exactly. So they purchased another again, same thing that we did with the intern and Rosalie. They purchased an options for free, and just now it came to be in range. So yes, they had a short perp with no funding, an elaborate one at that, because there's four legs. But it's true, yeah. The actually, now rethinking about this, I see what they were trying to do. Maximize size. If it's all out of range, it's like one delta. If you want, it's all like four legs, very very large. None of them are kind of that high in terms of the VGORD or the spread that they pay. And now, even though there's like it's in range, it's only one leg it's paying, so it's still very small.
Yeah,
And
so
it's
actually
it's
very
it's, it's
clever.
back to out of range, right? Even all of them seems to be out of range. So
Let's see, this one's at 1801, and the price of ETH is
yeah,
1800.
if the price were to go back to 1644, which is when they opened, they would not lose anything or barely anything because they're free premium. So yeah, I don't know who's selling that out of range liquidity, but that's fine. On the other side, they're not getting paid either.
Sweet. So, I mean, this is a clever way because they obviously have a bearish bias here. They think the price is going to go down. They structured the trade in a very cost efficient way to kind of avoid paying any streamia due to the maybe the inefficiency of the sellers selling out here. And so, why are people selling out here? Maybe they don't know, they're not earning streamia, or maybe they put it out there back in the days and the price has moved and they've gone on vacation. So this is taking advantage of that liquidity. And unfortunately, the price moved in the wrong direction of their thesis or their belief, but it was still set up very well. So yeah, honestly, they're still not paying anything. So I don't know. What do you think this user should do? Not financial
I
advice.
mean, the
Research.
the what you have to assume is that, I mean, if they're buying, yeah, they probably are directional. So a lot of times we assume that it may be hedged. They may have different exposures. Maybe that portfolio owns more than one ETH of deposit. So that's kind of a call option payoff type of thing. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I'm not a buyer, a net buyer most of the time. So I have a little bit less intuition as to how to manage these, as especially if they go in the money. But yeah, I don't know. Long
I guess it
puts,
depends on their conviction. Do they still
yes.
think more is to come for this possible recession, let's say,
Yeah, that's
or
right.
are they just going to cut their losses at this point?
No, but yeah, the 1644 entry point. If you look at is the price on Unichain or not showing?
No, yeah,
Yeah,
no
okay.
price here,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
they were uh mid bull market. So it's also maybe bad timing in a little bit, because that's kind of the dip was 1600 and it went up a little bit and then they minted and it kept going up. So also maybe a bad timing type of trade there.
Unlucky there.
Yep.
Well, okay. You got 3 out of 4, 75% today, so not bad with that score. Very nice. If you guys have questions on your trades or want to be featured, let us know in the comments or on Discord. Join our Discord. You can find it on our Twitter bio or YouTube bio, I believe. So follow us at Panopic_XYZ. We do have a big announcement here at the end of this stream to conclude. Yes, we will be having a big launch. So Guillaume, where and what are we launching on?
Yeah. I mean, am I front running the announcement, or it's going to be live soon or not?
Oh, it's already live. There's a couple of things I'll show you here.
Exactly. So we're launching on base. So this is something that has been in the works for the past few weeks. We've done the Unichain launch. This was fine. It's seamless. I love trading on Unichain as well. It's cheap, but base also has a broader diversity of tokens. So we will definitely be looking forward to these meme coin trades for sure, but also the natural trades that come through the base ecosystem. So yeah, Panoptic on base will launch on Uniswap V3 and Uniswap V4. The pips and incentives will be geared toward the V4 pools, which is very, very interesting and cool as well. But yeah, excited that we'll be able to offer perpetual options to base, and of course all the other layers are coming. But yeah, base is the next one in our kind of reschedule.
Sweet. We know there's a huge community. I know a lot of you listeners have requested to be on base. You probably have a lot of LP funds there already or are trading there. So I think it'll be great to join that huge ecosystem. To kick things off, we will be launching a trading competition. So we actually have some really cool things you can sign up for, and kind of show that you're excited about the competition. The competition will start after, of course, the base launch. So you can sign up for updates there to get it exactly, so you don't miss out on the competition. There's going to be some big prizes. There's going to be plushies. There's going to be stablecoin cash prizes. There's going to be lots and lots of pips. So we have some big rewards coming there. I'll just share my screen here if you're watching this visually. If you're not, head to panoptic.xyz, our website, and you'll see this big kind of sign up sheet for joining the base trading competition. Now, you don't actually have to sign up to join, but the advantage here, if you sign up to show us your interest early, is you're going to get a little bit of a boost on your pips. And so you're going to earn some extra pips on any chain. It doesn't have to be base. You just earn these points. So you're going to drop in your email address and your wallet address, and you're going to get some points boosted and updates for when we do launch this trading competition. It's going to be a big competition contest to be the best trader. And even if you're not the best or the most active, there'll be prizes for kind of everybody there. So we'll have lots and lots of prizes, points, money, and plushies. So stay tuned for that. Sign up and you'll get the updates in your inbox. And watch out for our updates on Twitter.
Yeah, very excited about this too as well. Yeah, this is yeah. We'll share the trades as well. So hopefully you guys will have the top winner will be featured in the best trades. We do review as well. But yeah, this is very cool.
That's right. We'll be adding some very interesting trades to this segment on Friday. So stay tuned for more. We'll be back on Monday, I believe, with our Stop Losing, Start Trading. So around the same time, morning times, I guess closer to noon Eastern time, morning in the West Coast. But stay tuned and happy trading over the weekend. Hope nothing too crazy happens.
Of course. All right. See you guys.